I'm Malcolm White. I'm the Forestry Operations Manager for Atholl Estates. This is Struan Point, just north of Blair Atholl, where we're now carrying out a new woodland creation on the hill here. It's around about 300 hectares overall, however that's split down into different compartments. There's about 150 hectares of it is getting planted. 50 hectares of that, which is on the top of the ground here, is going to be native Scots Pine, and that's not a commercial species, it's the native Caledonian Scots Pine, and amongst that is going to be mixed in native Rowan and native Birch, which should give a really nice impression of a native natural woodland, a nice mosaic of different colours and species. Further down, as we drop down the hill, we move more into the commercial areas where we're planting Sitka spruce as a commercial crop, also Norway, and we've got some Scots Pine commercial going in as well. And below that we're putting in a big strip of native broadleaves, and that's going to be a mixture of hazel, alder, goat willow, birch, oak, rowan, aspen. So a lot of different species going in along the bottom, and it should give a really nice impression of a mixed woodland as well. Further out the back of the hill there's an existing woodland, the Struan birchwood, which is actually a SSSI, and we've undertaken to try and regenerate some of that area with native natural regeneration of birch. One of the reasons for carrying out the regeneration, it's a SSSI for the birch itself, but also there's quite a rare moth that lives in this area. The local name for it is the Ranach roller moth. It does have a fancy Latin name I can't remember. But by carrying out the regeneration of the birch and also allowing some grazing outside the deer fence, but which is still part of the scheme, that should benefit the moth by creating more habitat for it. Also in this area up the top of the hill we do have various, outside the scheme we've got hen harriers. Inside the scheme we'd see falcons, we see owls. Due to the nature of the ground there's a lot of voles that live here, and they can damage the trees, which is why we put vole guards on them. But we're trying to encourage a lot of raptors to live and nest here, which will then feed on the voles and reduce the damage to the trees. So we're going to be putting up raptor perches to try and make it an attractive area for them to come and live in, and then they'll give us the benefit by catching the voles in the area, and that will reduce damage to the planted trees.
I'm Georgie Brown and I'm the Senior Forestry Consultant for Tree Story in the Highlands. At Tree Story we're delighted to be working with Atholl Estates on a range of landscape scale woodland expansion projects. New woodlands create a whole range of benefits. These include improving biodiversity and habitat, improving soils and water retention. In addition to all those benefits, we know that woodlands sequester carbon. And now under the Woodland Carbon Code we have a way of assessing and quantifying and certifying the amount of carbon sequestered in these woodlands. So here at Struan Point, the estate is creating a very diverse, productive woodland with a range of conifer species alongside native woodland integrated to deliver those benefits and to sequester carbon, and that is through planting around 350,000 trees on this scheme.
It's quite a long process to be able to get the forest from initial concept through to planting or through to being signed off. It took around 18 months from when we originally decided to plant this to getting it through the various permissions required. Once we did get all the permissions through, the first step was to carry out the deer fencing, which is around 6 kilometres of deer fencing here, and they were several months on the ground. They started it in around about October and it's only just been finished at the end of March. It's quite a lot. It's a long fence, difficult, steep ground in places, quite rocky. Also carrying the fencing out through the winter, there was a lot of snow on the ground that stopped them for quite a long time. The fence was completed and the ground preparation started, and that's bringing in big, basically 360-degree tracked diggers that mound the ground. They put the bucket in and turn over basically a mound, almost a molehill on the ground, which is where the trees are going to be planted. There was about 150 hectares of that to do, and again they started in October, November 2020, and they've just finished in the end of March 21, so it's a long time doing that. The planting then started once the ground preparation was completed, and that take around 2 months to plant all the trees. Probably around about 8 to 10 people a day. Sometimes we've got squads of 12 here. Usually on good ground they can plant 3,000 a day. On this ground, because it is quite stony in places, they're probably doing 1,500 to 2,000 trees per day, which is still a lot of work for one person. It has been enjoyable being involved in this project. It's great to be involved in a project of this size. It's the first woodland creation that I've been involved in. It's good to be involved in this project, not just for the benefits to the estate, but also to the local community and to assisting to add to the woodland cover for adding to Scotland. Scotland does have a target of woodland creation per year, and it's great to be involved in the project that's adding to that.